Hello fixers, as you're no doubt aware, I've dragged TEMU in the past, and I'd be lying if I told you that they haven't contacted me about that particular video more than once. However, something did pique my interest, and at heart I'm a positive kind of guy. So they asked for a kind of a right of reply, and rather than me delete my original video, they've offered me now the opportunity to review some of their stuff. And they gave me a budget, and I thought it'd be quite a nice thing to do to try and pick some nice stuff from TEMU. I think I'll split it over 2 videos because otherwise it will be monstrously long. There are a couple of conditions. They want me to read out where you get the app and all that sort of stuff, and how you can get some cracking discounts. So here's the first pile of stuff, and if anything piques your fancy, you can download the TEMU app through the link below. You'll get an extra 30% off any first order, or you can search for the code DMR5976 in the search bar to claim on TEMU. Or if you've already downloaded the app, you can search for the alternative code DMQ5976 in the TEMU search bar to claim a £100 coupon bundle for free. Let's have a look. Oh, forgot something.
Mark fixes stuff.
First in the haul is this handheld rechargeable fan. This costs £3.99, which isn't particularly competitive, but I was drawn to the idea of enjoying silent large wind outdoors, and I hope one day there'll be an upgrade so I can enjoy large wind silently indoors as well. I picked pink because it was the cheapest version, and also why not. There are instructions in Chinese for you guys who like that sort of thing, and over on the other side it's in English. Basically, press the button 3 times and the 4th time is off. There's a micro USB cable for charging, not the newer USB-C type that people seem to insist on, and luckily out of the box it seems to have some charge. Hooray! Large silent wind. And it actually does a pretty good job. It's quite warm here today, and all 3 settings did a really good job of cooling my beautiful face. But we also did the important scientific stuff. Science! Yep, setting 3 can blow the ticket off of the bench. There's also a stand for fans of hands-free blowing. Great! Let's cut to the chase with the next item. This is a 6-piece set of non-slip design aluminium carving knives for woodworking, otherwise known as a scalpel. It has the usual situation where you twist the shaft to make the tool go firm, and when it is firm, well, I can attest that the blade is very sharp indeed. That's actually great. I do use quite a lot of these scalpels for things like 3D printing, deburring and cutting out items. Now this is listed as a 6-piece set, and that's because there's 5 spare blades inside this pot. For £1.69 you can't go wrong really. Okay, this one is a definite thumbs up. I usually buy the same thing on another platform, but this is cheaper. If you know anyone who likes to spend their quality time scissoring, then this item might be for you. I was a bit worried that to get into the scissors I'd need a pair of scissors, but I could tear it open fairly easily. Thank goodness, or I'd look really silly. Once the packet's open, the scissors look really nice quality. Certainly well worth 99p anyway. They're described as M&G stationary 160mm wear resistant black edge scissors, stainless steel knife blade, not easy to stick glue, household handmade life durable scissors, office supplies single handle pack. Wow, but okay, they're decent. Now the next item is something I've needed for some time, and I paid a whopping $46.99 for it, which is a lot cheaper than you can get it elsewhere. It's a 3D printer tent. I've wanted one for ages for my Creality CR6 SE. I won't be making this today because, as a lot of you know, I'm packing all my stuff away. I can't afford this space anymore, so I have to move. But it all does seem to be really good quality. These sticks don't seem to be the usual plastic. I think they might be ceramic. I'll probably throw this up in a blog. You've got instructions, but to be honest it's fairly simple for anyone who's constructed a tent for growing tomato plants in the past. I do not know why they're in there. And all the corners and connectors. So that's something we can do in the future. I'm pretty happy with the quality of it overall though. Back in the box, until hopefully we find a new home for the channel where this can fit. I'm not crying, you're crying. Not forgetting to slide these rubber gloves into my box. Satisfying. Okay, it turns out I couldn't resist making the printer tent. And the blue gloves, well, they're to stop you getting splinters from the fiberglass poles. It's a really good size and easily big enough for my CR6 SE FDM printer. The inside is all reflective silver and it has a grommeted inlet for the power cable. There's holes for fan attachments either side of the tent, which could come in handy if you decide that you're going to cosplay as a 1980s film action figure. Because it gets hot in there. Really quickly. The next item is something I chose because I'm sick of buying them individually and costing myself a fortune. £4.49 got me this 100 piece 5x20mm fast blow glass fuse assortment kit from 2A to 20A. I'm always using these things in all my devices, so it's nice to have a little selection on hand. I can't argue with the price on this either. I can't find anything funny to say. Let's hope these fuses don't blow. Sorry. Here's something we can talk a little bit more about. I've had my eye on these cheap component testers for a couple of years now. This is described as the LCR TC1 1.8 inch TFT LCD display multimeter transistor tester diode triode capacitor resistor test meter MOSFET NPN PNP triac MOS. And I paid £13.18 for it. I'm out of breath now. It seems like keyword stuffing is still a thing in Shenzhen. There's an accessories pack which I can identify most of. Again, the micro USB charging cable. The lowest quality capacitor I think I've seen in a while. An LED, red. Some kind of inserts for a crimping tool. And some grip probes in case you can't fit your component into the socket for any reason. Overall, the unit feels well built. There's a tiny instruction leaflet included, which is frankly wrong. And about as much use as an ashtray on a motorcycle. But luckily it's not difficult to Google the instructions for this unit, and they're much better. The tester does everything from its RGIR decoding with a waveform through to various transistor and diode tests. Far too many to cover in this incredibly short video, but let's have a look at a couple of the functions if we can. And I think it's only fair to use the included components. Like our fan earlier, this already has a little bit of charge in it. I'm not sure what I'm doing, so let's randomly pop the LED in and see what happens. K and A might be cathode and anode, so let's pop it in the wrong way round. Oh, hang on. Well, that's lighting up, so I'm not sure now. The LED hasn't popped, so let's see what happens if we press start. It's detected it as a Zener diode, which is wrong, but understandable because the LED is the wrong way around, and Zener diodes are reverse biased. I guess I probably have to put it in the 1 and 2 sockets. More investigation required. Let's test the incredibly low quality capacitor that came with the tester. Looking at the manual, it says that polarity isn't actually important, but I do have to put it into the 1 and 3 positions on the socket. This is a really cheap capacitor. It's marked as 10 microfarads, and testing shows it as 12.08 microfarads with a V-loss of 2.7% and a whopping ESR of 4.6 ohms. Far too high. This unit costs about £13, so let's see how that compares with my Pig Atlas Electronic Design Limited ESR Plus. This costs about £120. It's incredibly accurate, but to be honest, for finding bad capacitors you don't need a high degree of accuracy, just a ballpark figure. And to be honest, that is in the same ballpark, 11.01 microfarads and 5.8 ohms. Both of these detected a bad capacitor. Well, this one's 13 quid. It's a no-brainer really. I'm not going to make the joke about how this next product is futile. I paid $9.99 for this multi-pack of resistors. There's a variety of values of these quarter watt resistors, ranging from 1 ohm up to 1 mega ohm. They're 1% parts, and there's a whopping 1,450 pieces in this box. It's great value for money, even if it is an organisational nightmare. You can never have too many resistors on hand. Although I probably have too many resistors on hand. It's a good price, and I usually order this exact same kit elsewhere. They're exactly the same printing and everything. Good value. The next item won't take but a minute because I've really messed up. I paid quite a lot for these because I wanted quality items, $3.99 in fact. These are test hook clips for multimeter probes. I ordered 4mm when I should have ordered 2mm, and that's my bad. You can try slipping it in, but the hole's just too big and it falls out. My tip's too small. It's a shame because I actually really wanted these. On the plus side, they're really good quality, so paying $3.99 for these is probably a good idea. We're going to do the next 7 items all at once because they're different sizes of the same thing. And if these are okay, it's a real bargain. These are dip or dill sockets, and as you probably know, they're used for putting chips into boards. But these are the variety which are turned pin, meaning they're a higher quality part than the ones you usually get off of eBay. I paid between £1.69 and £2.49 for each set of 10 of these. These are different to the standard cheaper version because the pins are much more robust. However, if you're using old chips, you have to get all of the solder off, otherwise they won't sit in the turned pin sockets very well. These have actually turned out to be really good quality at around half the price of what you'd pay on auction sites or other marketplaces. So I'm quite pleased. Looking through the other sizes of sockets, it seems that the quality is consistent across the board. I imagine they're all manufactured in the same region of China as well, so where you source them from probably doesn't matter that much. These are great. One thing I did notice though was they don't seem to stock the wide pin variety of sockets that you'd need for things like EEPROMs. Well, I guess you can just source those locally. Overall, this is a win. I'm quite happy with these and recommend them. Another thing I can recommend is this 600 pieces set of inline transistors. There's both NPN and PNP transistors here in a TO92 format. These are really handy to have around when you're making little projects, and they're generally used for amplification of things like video signals or audio. They're small and they're really effective. They also pop off and disappear into the ether if you ever drop them by the workbench, so it's good to have lots of spares. I like the cases these come in as well. It gives me a fuzzy feeling when I pop my parts in the box. And the final item, with a whopping £38.45 paid, is this Qanba Gravity Silent Joystick. I'm currently designing a joypad and numpad combo for a video I'm doing on the ColecoVision. I wouldn't normally pay for a Qanba because they're incredibly expensive, and I'm hoping that this is the real deal. I've got to say, the metal tin it comes in does seem very authentic, but we won't be able to tell until we open it up. So what's the advantage of this joystick over, say, a Sanwell microswitched model? Well, the answer is silence. Or near silence anyway. I personally can't stand the racket that microswitch joysticks make. I'm not sure if I'm alone on that. Let's see if this is genuine. The paperwork looks legit. And no offence to the other products, but the paper stock is a whole jump up. You can feel the quality oozing just from this piece of paper. And like any good product, it gives comprehensive instructions on how to wire it up. Happy days. Let's see what's in the actual tin. The ball top I went for is this kind of hammered blue finish. I'm so glad I chose the hammered blue ball option. It's lovely. Like an eyeball. We have a pair of restrictor gates. We have a circular and an octagonal. I'll probably go for octagonal for the ColecoVision. They're really high quality. We have the wiring harness, which goes from the 5-pin on the joystick to whatever you're setting it up on. And we also have some springs which change the throw elasticity of the stick, 1.5 times and 2 times. It's brilliant that these options are in here. As I pull out my stick, I can feel it's got real heft, and there's even a nice little cover for my shaft. But let's do that important sound test. That is so smooth and really low noise. And underneath the joystick cover, we can see the Qanba authentic hologram of authenticity. Brilliant. So that rounds up part 1 of the TEMU haul. Obviously there's a load of old chuff on TEMU, but I've really tried to avoid it with this pile of stuff, and I think I've succeeded. What do you think? let me know. Big thanks to my patrons who support the channel. Without you guys, I couldn't do anything. Patrons get ad-free early access to all my videos. There's an exclusive Patron Discord channel, which nobody seems to use because nobody ever wants to talk to me. There's also a fairly infrequent Patron vlog. I'm moving, so you have to forgive me on that one. Patrons also get the special ability to change clothes with a Wonder Woman spin. That might be a lie. Thank you, seriously. Really appreciate your help. My goodness, OnlyFans take 30% of everything I make. Shocking. Go on, go and watch one of these other videos. Oh, I'm packing boxes like mad right now. It's literally doing my head in.